if I'm missing anything. You guys, what I'm looking for today is solid evidence that would actually verify Rich Paul's claims, because I feel like Rich Paul puts out a lot of stories and people just take them at face value. So last year there was this rumor that around the trade deadline, LeBron might go to the Bay Area, which I found very upsetting. And as far as I know, there was just a phone call. Anyone know more than that? Like, I never saw any details about who was involved in the package, who would leave, who would come. A phone call is not, I mean, do you know how many phone calls must take place in the league? Just feeling things out, seeing if there's an option there. You don't even have to really be entertaining the idea seriously to make a phone call. And if I recall correctly, Draymond pushed the front office to make the phone call. This was Draymond Green and Draymond Green's doing, who being a part of Clutch Sports and a part owner of LeBron James Unlimited. It would be weird that one person from Clutch Sports was pushing in that direction while the head of Clutch Sports was thinking, no, this is not what we want. So again, does anyone have anything solid? Because again, my Googling skills did not reveal anything about that. And we'll get to how disgusting it would be to have LeBron James in the Bay Area. And on that note, how disgusting it is that any Bay Area people actually liked that idea. Get out. To you people, I say, get out. Get out. You're as fake as the fake LA fans that cheer for LeBron. So we also had, by the way, do people remember what Steph Curry said when asked about playing with LeBron? I'm good. I'm good right now. That doesn't really lend to this idea that the Warriors wanted LeBron. But the Warriors made some dumb moves in the past, bringing people at the end of their careers in. So what else has Rich Paul done? You remember Bob Myers? Shame on Bob Myers. Bob Myers went on television and spread the Rich Paul rumor that Rich Paul had to call teams and instruct them not to draft Bronny James. And that's all the evidence that we have that happened, was Bob Myers leaking that information on television. So I can't say for a fact that it never happened, but can anyone tell me which teams he called and what the conversation was and what those teams said? Have any of those teams that Rich Paul called been contacted and said, yeah, he called us? Maybe I couldn't find it. You know, I'm not the best researcher. I looked. Today's show is all about asking people to chime in. Is there any actual verifiable evidence of this? Because the other side is how it benefited Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, LeBron James, Bronny James, creating the illusion that Bronny was wanted. Look, he was almost at the bottom of the selection anyway. You can't prove that he was desired either way. Somebody had to take him at some point because he was in there. Anyway, my point is that, there was so much scrutiny about Bronny coming into the NBA just because of LeBron James that it was necessary to put out this idea that Bronny was actually desired. He was actually draftable. So much so that Rich Paul had to step in, which is kind of what today's news is also. Rich Paul had to step in. Sure you did. Sure you did. Can I see some proof, please? Can I see some proof, please? You know what? I'll put the call link up, but I'll finish my tirade. But I'll put the call link up. So those of you who actually have some evidence on this, and not more hearsay, not more rumors. I want some actual evidence, not stories coming from Mr. Antlers, Rich Paul. So this brings us to today's rumor that was started by Rich Paul and some Stein guy reported. People, pay attention that it was according to a report. You understand that reports are different? That's just saying, hey, I'm reporting on something that may or may not have happened. They try and do this in the scientific community too. When it's, somebody like the fossil fuel industry will issue a report that claims things like burning coal actually cleans the sky, actually makes the air healthier. Now, a report is not a study, but how many people understand the difference? Maybe some do, maybe they don't. But if you are able to issue a report and nothing inside that report has to be verifiable, but you accomplish your goal by putting out that report and having people start to think, oh, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. This is what Rich Paul does. He puts these ideas out there and then people run with it. And shame on the professional media for being his pawn. What is an NBA insider anyway? This Stein guy. Who exactly gets to be an insider and when? So let's talk about Uncommon Sense yesterday. He had another great show. And Uncommon's main point was, look, you're not saving LeBron's reputation at this point. His entire career has been about taking the easy route and forming super teams. And the people that like LeBron will never, ever, ever criticize any of his moves. So it really wouldn't matter if he did it yet again. I mean, they will absolutely forgive him for anything he does. That was the main point from Uncommon Sense. I don't buy it. Here's what Uncommon didn't mention, and I think is the real hole in this Rich Paul story. Why is this coming out now? If he put the kibosh on this back on the trade deadline, why are we hearing about it now? What does it accomplish? Especially if the excuse is the excuse that Rich Paul gave. Rich Paul is pretending that he came to the rescue of LeBron's reputation. Oh, I was worried that, 4 super teams and going from SoCal to NorCal was just going to be too much. Now, look, if you were trying to protect LeBron's reputation, then you should have just kept your mouth shut. You just drew attention to the fact that it was on the table. The damage is done. You were looking into it. LeBron was looking into it. That already tells you his mentality. Why on earth would you tell everyone what you did? You just outed LeBron James, basically. If any of this is even true, you basically just told on yourselves. I had to step in to stop us from being unethical yet again, from being cowardly again. Rich Paul's not too bright. He's rich and egotistical, and those people tend to condemn themselves with their own words. You guys hear what I'm saying? If you thought it would be detrimental to LeBron James to go to the Bay Area and team up with Steph Curry, but it was actually already on the table, and you had to squash it to save LeBron's career, then you should have kept your mouth shut and just let it disappear. Now we're all thinking about it again, and you think that you helped LeBron James. in his image by saying, oh, I put the kibosh on that. No, you just exposed him further as far as I'm concerned. Well, I got the main points out. Let me put the call-in link up, and I'll go over all of these again, because I know a lot of people are only now tuning in. So I just put the call-in link. I'll scroll through a few comments. Again, I'm looking for solid evidence, everyone, not reports. Reports aren't evidence. Reports are reports. You might as well be continuing to spread rumors. A report is a report. Until somebody from those organizations says, yes, here's the transcript of the conversation that took place, whether it's the fake phone calls that Rich Paul made telling teams not to draft that incredible asset of Bronny James that everybody was after, to Rich Paul being the one who had to step in and squash this trade to the Warriors. And if the Warriors were looking at Rich Paul, I think, that alone upset me. Not Rich Paul. I'm sorry, Paul George. I think Paul George is fake. I don't think he'll ever get you anywhere. Softy. Another person who would probably rather look at himself in the mirror and do another podcast than focus on what'll get his team over the hump. Bay Area people, when this latest Rich Paul rumor came out, I saw that some people were saying, oh, thanks a lot, Rich Paul. You ruined it. It could have been incredible. It could have been incredible. These two together. Shame on you. Shame on you, and get out. This is like Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan teaming up together in 1990. This is like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird teaming up to take on Isaiah. Things of that nature. And if you're on board with that sort of thing, then the mental separation between us old heads and you is so extreme that I don't even know if it's explainable. Like, if you don't understand how that's detrimental to sports and the very notion of competition, how about Tom Brady and Eli Manning and Peyton Manning just all got on one team and took turn taking snaps? Hey, it's no fun competing against you. Let's just all get together. So I see some people saying, what are we talking about? I'll go down it again. I'm trying to figure out if there's any hard evidence that actually verifies anything that Rich Paul puts out there for the media to feed to us. I mean, the media are basically Rich Paul's puppets. Here is my story. Now feed it to the world, and they will believe it just because it's out there, which we all need to be better about something like that. And that's why I'm asking. If you guys know better, if you actually are aware of evidence out there, please, by all means, this is the show to tell me about it, because as far as I'm concerned, it's just rumors spread by Rich Paul. And sadly, Bob Myers was a part of spreading the rumor during the draft about Rich Paul having to tell teams not to draft Bronny. Right. As if Bronny would have actually gone to Australia. Why would he go to Australia? As if he had to provide for himself, right? You got to look out for the family with all their hardships. And so the trade deadline last year, that was the first time I heard about the rumor. And all I heard about was that there was a phone call. I'm looking for evidence about that phone call, if there was anything more solid than a phone call, because a phone call really doesn't mean that much. People can have a conversation. Maybe they have a conversation to see if it sparks any other ideas in their minds. Maybe they have a conversation just because Draymond Green was whining so much they wanted him to get off their backs. I don't know. Who knows? And we know Jeannie Buss will do anything that Rich Paul says to do. So if Rich Paul or LeBron said that they wanted that to happen or to make a phone call, well, what's she going to do? Say no? That'd be like the first time in the history of LeBron coming to LA that she said no. So I doubt that happened. And so that brings us to today, another rumor that Rich Paul had to be the one to step in and save LeBron's reputation because super teaming for the fourth time would have just been a little bit too much. My original take on this, or as far as I'm aware, no one else has said this, is that if in fact you did it to help LeBron's reputation, then don't come out and brag about it to the world because you just undid the work that you supposedly did. You just exposed him and yourself. If there were trade talks in the works and then you decided, you're basically saying you finally woke up and realized, we're pretty shady. This is pretty unrespectable. Just keep your mouth shut. I know it's hard for these people to do. So I'll scroll through a few comments. If this was true, and I doubt, it's just another way that Minion Paul is keeping the insecure, egotistical, overrated deer name in the headlines. Well, that would answer one of the questions I asked. Why are you telling us now? I mean, my God, they've got to keep LeBron's name in there constantly. I mean, we've just finished with the fake Olympic MVP. And, hurry up, get the next line out there. Get the next story out there. Meg, a longtime subscriber, says, Rich Paul is so transparent. He reminds me of the kid that thinks he's smart because the other kids don't let on that they know he's dumb. It's extra dangerous now because these stupid people are rich. These stupid people have managed to become very rich. And it should be detrimental to them because when you're that rich and powerful and nobody can call you out, then you're just going to continue to say dumb things. Well, nobody wants to call in. Oh, there's Uncut. Let's see if you've got some knowledge for us. If LeBron went to Golden State, they'd spin the narrative that he saved Steph. Yes, of course. And you know what Steph would have been reduced to? Just stand around, wait until LeBron is done using up the shot clock, and then kick it out to Steph. Maybe it would be a welcome change for Steph because you see how hard that guy works right now, running around the court and fighting through screens, trying to get open. And then he has a millisecond to get the shot off. By comparison to LeBron James, like eating a sandwich at the top of the key until someone throws him the ball and nobody guards his ugly ass three that he throws off the side of the backboard. Yeah, man, I'm not going to let anyone off the hook here. If this were to happen, Steph Curry should demand a trade. We know that won't happen. But if we had, if they had the mentality of people from the past, imagine if the Bulls and the Pistons proposed bringing Isaiah and Michael together. I feel like the hatred was strong enough that Michael would have said no. I would like to think that. Steph should say no. Steve Kerr should say no, but we already know where Steve Kerr's head is at after what he did in the Olympics. Shame on you, Steve Kerr. It's so hard to get excited about the Warriors now. And in fact, this type of non-competitive basketball has made it hard to get excited about any team, in my opinion. I got a super chat. Tony Paul. Are those Aussie dollars? Question, brother AOA. MJ was the perfect superhero model to strive to be. Hard work, focus, excellence. LeBottom is the opposite model. Question, AOH, do you think that's on purpose? Do I think it's on purpose that LeBron is the opposite? I think it's more a case that he can get away with it. You know, there aren't any consequences for acting like a bitch. Somebody said that Jaylen Brown is getting blackballed by Nike. You mean the guy that just got another historical contract? Record-breaking, absurd contract? Yeah, these are the people who are suffering nowadays. Come on. There's just no consequences for these assholes and their asshole behavior anymore. Again, if you're shame on Bay Area people that actually embraced this. I haven't released a video. I just shredded a guy named Damon Bruce to the core. Maybe I'll release it next week. F that guy. A little decency, people. Come on, anybody. I'm going to take this as evidence that there is no proof. I'm going to take this as evidence that there is no actual verification of Rich Paul's rumors. And yes, I know it's a cop-out to put the blame on you guys. I'm not really putting the blame on you. I'm just saying I searched for it and I can't find it. I'm asking for help openly because maybe that's my fault for not finding it. I can't find anything that verifies this stuff, and yet people have run with it. Yes, Damon Bruce, the guy from radio. You'll know what I mean. Made a goddamn ass of himself. Goddamn ass of himself the way he was slobbering on LeBron James and the idea of LeBron coming here. Tony Paul. Yes, I mean, you can be a victim, play crap, and still get cash. Yeah. The Sentinels football channel. Thank you. I don't know which part you're thanking me for, but you're welcome. Sentinel football channel at Big Breedlove. We don't claim him. I'm in your call thing. Really? Oh, shit, my bad. I did not hear the ding. Dan Meyer.
Greetings.
Dan Meyer. Hello.
Hi. So watching earlier, I had two comments that I just really wanted to say regarding Rich Paul. Is that he is fastly becoming irrelevant to the NBA anymore because all he does is sell lies and the occasional truth whenever it suits him. And if LeBron wants to create another super team, fine. But it'll lose. It'll lose. I don't think that's really anything to worry about. But also, it's on these other players to just go along with this and not say no. That's all they gotta do. Say no. If you want to win, don't put LeBron on your team. That's
so
really all I got.
Why don't? But it seems like nobody says no anymore. Why do you think that is?
Because they're too afraid of being blasted on the internet. they don't want to lose a fan base because they don't like a star that isn't a star.
Well, like a friend, that's not a
Because
true friend. I don't think that's a true fan. I think a fan should like somebody who stands up for something like that. I mean, if anything, that's a reason to cheer for the person instead of just going with the flow. But I know what you mean. I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying, man, it's sad that that's the mentality. You don't
well,
want to
yeah,
get
and
blasted.
if you look at who I forget his name. Who was that guy on LeBron's team that like got literally just blasted for not calling a timeout after he grabbed and tried to shoot the ball the last second in the finals in 2016
Oh,
when he was on the
J-
Cavs.
17, or maybe it was 18. J.R. Smith.
Yeah, J.R. Smith. Like, look at him. His reputation feels like it's been tarnished all because of that. And they
Because
created that team especially for LeBron James, and they still lost most of their championships, and they got lucky because of a block.
Yeah, look, that happens to most of LeBron's teammates. And even if J.R. Smith hadn't had that timeout snafu, no one was going to remember him for much anyway, because he was reduced to what LeBron reduces all of his teammates to. And then it's
Well,
left up to me and people like me to
that's
remind
kind of my
people
point, though.
what a
Is
monster
that
J.R. Smith was in New York. Does anyone remember what a monster J.R. Smith was in New York? It was
no, not
incredible.
really. I didn't watch. I don't think I watched basketball that far. I got into basketball in like 2018 because I heard so much about LeBron James, and then when I watched him, I was like, "This guy sucks."
So you
Because
were,
my eyes didn't tell me what my eyes didn't see what these people were saying on TV.
but you were ready. You wanted to believe. I mean, you were drawn into
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Anything like I've heard so much about Michael Jordan. I didn't have the pleasure to watch him live. I really wish I did. But to be told that, hey, there's someone that's a lot like Michael Jordan, it could be comparable to him. I was excited to watch that. And then like what I did, I was severely disappointed.
Where are you calling from, and how old are you?
I'm calling from Iowa Western Community College and I'm 20 years old.
Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Ohio for a second. I was wondering if that influenced you, but no, Iowa. All right. All right. So we have younger generation who withstood the media brainwashing of LeBron James. Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if Rich Paul is irrelevant because the media continues to put out whatever Rich Paul says. So it's kind of up to them to help him become irrelevant. That's what the caller led with, was saying that Rich Paul was becoming irrelevant. I'll tell you one thing: you don't know very many players that he represents besides Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, LeBron, and Bronny. The big tarnish in there was Ben Simmons, but he's not with Clutch anymore. So for those of you who are just now tuning in, I'm looking for evidence that Rich Paul actually made those calls last year. Well, I'm looking for evidence of how detailed the proposed trade was last year around the trade deadline, or if it was nothing more than a quick call between the Warriors and the Lakers. And then there was Rich Paul claiming that he had to tell teams not to draft Bronny, which worked in his narrative favor without any actual evidence. I'm just looking for evidence besides Rich Paul's word. And now I'm looking for any evidence that Rich Paul did in fact have to come through and squash a trade between the Warriors and the Lakers, a team up of LeBron and Steph. And you know what? Even if that was in the works, the idea that he stepped in and put an end to it, yeah, I don't know. Someone else is calling in. You change your name once again. Not Richard Jefferson. Speam NRG.
Yeah, I might just do it every time.
No camera today.
Says I'm not driving home from a half day from work.
All right. Well, I'm just letting everyone know that so they can have a visual. You look just like Richard Jefferson.
I look nothing like Richard Jefferson.
Hey, man, is there any evidence to these things that I'm asking for evidence for that you know of?
Hold on. Hold on. This is bullshit. See? No, hold on. No Richard Jefferson. No Richard Jefferson. See? The internet.
Okay. All right. Get back to focusing on being safe. I always forget it's better when you're not on camera.
Speaking of role models.
Hey, were you actually listening? Do you want me to go through this?
No, I'm literally just getting off work, so catch me up to speed here a little bit if you can.
I'm asking anyone out there for any verifiable evidence. God damn it. I'm asking anyone out there for verifiable evidence that this trade, number one, came close to happening last year around the trade deadline. Two, that Rich Paul actually had to call teams to not draft Bronny. Three, that Rich Paul, which is the news story, had to put a kibosh on LeBron joining the Warriors. All there are reports. I don't have anything verifiable that I can find, such as the other organizations saying, yeah, that happened, and here's how it went down.
So, so bear with me because I might go in and out for a second. But if that stuff was verifiable, wouldn't it be tampering? I mean, isn't that the definition of tampering?
I mean, you know how many times the news has said that Rich Paul has told teams what to do? All of that should be considered tampering. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And if it is,
I don't understand
tampering, like the Anthony Davis thing was officially tampering and there was a fine, but it was an itty bitty teeny tiny fine. I mean,
it's like a $5,000 fine.
Rob Lane.
That's like what other stupid ass outfits cost.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Rich Paul is. I mean, if you had a best friend that was stupid like LeBron James and was rich, would you not? I don't know. I don't think I'd take advantage of him, but it's like, I don't see what merit Rich Paul has other than being friends with LeBron James. You know what I mean?
Well, he's rich. That's all that matters to people now.
Well, I mean, even before that, you had to have the cachet. You had to have the foundation to represent a player like Anthony Davis. Like, we're talking about arguably a top 3 player if he actually tried. So you just go straight to clutch because you don't like what's going on in New Orleans. And the last game you play with New Orleans, you wear a "That's All Folks" shirt and then act like you have no idea what anybody's talking about when they ask you, well, why'd you wear that shirt? And you play dumb. Like, it's all petty, passive aggressive BS. It's corny. These are grown men playing childish games. And I don't see it getting any better.
That wasn't on the down low. They tried to make that happen for a while. And at first New Orleans
That's true.
Like, nope. Yeah, that wasn't on the down low. That was full on. That's
true.
On. That's what LeBron wanted. Anthony Davis was part of clutch. So Rich Paul was able to negotiate or apparently dictate, as it seems to be.
Yeah.
Somebody in the comments
say you pronounced dictate wrong.
Yeah. Dictaste. That's what's happening with Broners. Somebody said that Trae Young left Clutch Sports too. Is there
He was. I remember he was with Clutch. I'm sure there's not.
Okay.
I'm sure there's not. Trae Young's another one that's like, he's iffy. as a player. I'd love to know what the timeline was between Anthony Davis signing to Clutch and then him going to the Lakers.
It was almost immediate.
Was it? See, that's crazy to me. I mean, granted, it's not crazy because it happens and it's the reality of it. But again, going back to the right in front of our faces, I'd respect it more if you just acknowledged it. Like, yeah, we used our power to get Anthony Davis. Yeah, Bronny has a 4-year contract, even though he's an unproven player. Yeah, I used my influence for all that. Just own it.
It is in our faces, but you've got the people who just don't care, which is one of the holes in the story of Rich Paul saying that he was saving LeBron's reputation by saying, no, I'm going to teaming up with Steph and Golden State would be a little bit too much. No, the people that have forgiven LeBron for everything LeBron's done will forgive him for this too. And Nick Wright will lead the charge on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they will repeat what Nick Wright says. So you weren't saving him from anything. Here comes let me read a super real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Super chat $4.99 from Jimmy James. What do you mean LeBron is dumb? He can vividly recall all 6 of his turnovers from the game he just played. Well, did I actually call LeBron dumb during this?
I did. I called him stupid.
Oh, okay. He seems to be getting dumber. Maybe it's the rich thing in the ego, because he does not try very hard to speak well in public anymore. He doesn't even try.
You know what I'm noticing? I come from a generation where people gave a shit about how you spelled stuff and correct pronunciation and the difference between your and you are and your. And I noticed almost from day one when this man started like tweeting, everything was wrong. And I thought to myself, like, I get it. You're rich. Like, these guys are rich. They don't really have to care about stuff like this. But it's those small little details, like knowing how to fucking read or write, that help determine whether you're a decent human being. Excuse my language.
Yeah, this is
but like that, it all takes away from it.
This is a long process.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I remember it bugging me, but like they went from it just being laziness of not bothering to understand proper grammar to it being cool or trendy to actually speak incorrectly. And now pretty much everyone intentionally in their titles leaves out conjunctions and prepositions and doesn't have a gender agreement or plurality correct or anything. No, but it's almost like
nothing.
But now, but it's gotten so bad that when I'm writing a title and I'm like, should I fucking do this incorrectly so that it's more popular? Should I use incorrect English? Because
you should. You can use incorrect English in the title and then explain why in the description.
We have Dallas in the waiting room. Dallas.
Hey, what's happening, man? How you feeling today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I got an answer to your question about do we have concrete evidence?
Yeah.
From Rich Paul. The answer is no. We don't have any evidence for it. And it's never going to be.
Have you looked?
What's that?
Have you searched too?
I've searched before. I didn't search recently because every time I search, there's never any really concrete evidence besides, like you said, NBA insiders. Just, saying we heard, or, Stephen A. Smith saying what does he say all the time? My sources. But I never heard any concrete. My sources. Right. Yeah, I never heard any concrete information. I do want to speak to this though, because I was I'm not sure who the gentleman's name is that's on with you right now. And
not Richard.
I don't know what my name is either. It's okay. I'm not sure what my name is either.
No, but what I want to speak to, I know you were saying it was stupid, and because the way he's been talking and things like that, I can't sign on to that. But I will say this: when it comes to grammar, I don't have a problem with people not speaking correct grammar as long as I can understand them. I think the biggest issue I have with him is the inauthenticity. Like, I don't mind someone talking and they're being straight honest. You know what I mean? I can really
Mhm.
understand what they're saying. But when you just talking, and you can almost tell, like, you're just being fake. I can just tell that you're being fake because the answer that you're giving sounds so programmed. You know what I mean? Like, it would
Programmed.
be different. Yeah, it'll be different. It would be different if, say, you're in a, LeBron is in a um, post game interview, and he just really told the truth. You know what I mean? And even if I didn't like what he was saying, but if he was telling the truth and not trying to make it sound a certain way, I can get with that. Kind of like, I'll even go to some, say, like someone like a Rasheed Wallace. When Rasheed Wallace in the post game, he just giving you his honest opinion. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It ain't
Can-
sugar coated. It ain't. It may not be grammatically correct. It's just not sugar coated. I think with LeBron, what makes people so upset to the point to where you really you have to watch yourself because it'll make you mad to where you might even want something actually to happen to him physically, right? Because it's so much fakeness, and it's so many people go with it, and so many people don't speak against it, which I think is why this channel was cool, because so many people feel like they have to go along with the narrative. It's like you'll talk to a grown ass man that's like 50 plus years old, and you'll point out things about the whole LeBron stuff, and they'll just feel like they got to go with it because it's like, I don't want to bash another man. They hit you with that. I'm not gonna bash another man. He trying to make his money. I'm
Oh,
like,
I hate
we're not.
that. I'm not counting his
Yeah,
pockets. Stop with
yeah.
that.
I'm like, yeah. I'm not. We're not even talking about the pockets. We're just talking about the game, and if you have a love of the game, like, you really become a fan, like all three of us are. Like, growing up watching '80s, '90s basketball, and you such a fan of watching the competition, and you realize, and you know how you used to feel as a kid playing. Like, it wasn't about all this attitude, me. It was cool to play with your homeboys and win together. You know what I mean? Like, you won together, and you all had a certain role. But you were watching guys on TV. You was watching the Lakers. You got to see their story. And
Hmm.
and even in football, it was like that. Like, you get to see a guy work from the beginning all the way to, going through the losing and all of that. You got a chance to see that, so you wanted to kind of do that too. And then it's like LeBron was one of the first times it really, really changed, where they pounded it so much in people's head that it was okay for you to do what he did, that they actually don't care anymore. Like, as fans, they don't care if they having a conversation about should Steph Curry stay in Golden State. Should he be looking? Yeah, he should stay in Golden State. It's about the story. It's not about, he got 4 championships. If he stays and maybe he loses for 2 years and then he get a good team again and win again, that feels better than, you know what? I don't like this over here anymore. I'm gonna go over to Oklahoma City. They got a young, good team. Let me go ahead and get with those young guys, and then just keep doing that. And it does make you mad, because you're looking at it and you're like, man, y'all have allowed this one guy. And I really think it's about them not wanting to be wrong about a player, because they were so invested in LeBron as a rookie in his high school. I think media was so invested that they just didn't want to be wrong. So they did everything to kind of make it right, in their opinion. And so many people just rode that ship. You know what I mean? Like, and it makes you upset, because you see so many people riding that ship, and then it's like it's only a few people you can talk to that'll really be real about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's rare that you talk to somebody and they'll be like, "Yeah, man, you're right." But yeah,
Well,
I'll stop there.
It makes me
so
so upset that
well,
I
real
almost
quick
go,
before I forget. God
yeah,
damn it, AOH. Oh, you could go. Go ahead. I'll wait.
fuck, taking this guy off the show.
Go ahead.
Fuck, what have you fucking done to me? Oh yeah, it's so upsetting that I actually start going against my own principles, because
Yeah.
you see all the excuses made for LeBron James, and you see all the effort that the Lakers go through to bring in anything LeBron wants. And you already see these storylines about the Lakers are wasting LeBron's last good years, even though
Hmm.
it's LeBron wasting the Lakers. And then it's really hard not to think about Steph Curry, because just up north, you have a guy who the exact opposite is happening with. And you have a guy who you could actually be winning some championships with if you put nearly the same effort into surrounding him the way they try to surround LeBron. And
Mm-hmm.
you're absolutely right. Steph should not leave. Steph should not start complaining. He should not start acting like LeBron. But when you hear all this crap, you almost think, well, damn, Steph, maybe you should go and ring hunt or something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he shouldn't. I'm just saying it's gotten so confusing. I actually argue with myself. And you said something at the beginning about there not being any evidence. They would show it to us if it was out there. I mean, it's not, they would show it to us. It would be in our face. They'd be talking about it all day long. So that's another sign that the evidence isn't out there. All right, Steam Engine, I'm sorry, go.
No, it's okay. My counter, Dallas, to the stupid comment is the difference between Rasheed Wallace. No, because I want to answer it in order a little bit. The difference between Rasheed Wallace and LeBron James is Rasheed Wallace doesn't act like he knows what he's talking about. I had to sit there and listen to LeBron James talk about the Chinese economy, and this man knows nothing. Like, just like for him to have the hubris to even speak on it. Who was the Rockets owner?
Daryl Morey.
Yeah, like
for him to. Yeah, for him to go back and forth with a man who's like well versed in pretty much everything Chinese, considering Yao Ming. It was just idiocy. And then I'll bring it up every week if I have to. But the first page of the book thing, like you bring that upon yourself. If you have a facade of being intelligent and you do not show signs of being intelligent, then that's an issue. And the whole him remembering his stats, I mean, that's great, but that's okay. You see him looking at the stats. I'm sure after at the post game, he's probably back there going to say it. And it's also part of his brand to make it seem like he has the super basketball brain, the super basketball memory, which sure, maybe 10, 12 years ago, okay, maybe a little bit, but not now. He hurts more than he hurts anybody. And speaking to Steph, go ahead, sorry.
I also liked the Rasheed Wallace comparison because, Dallas, you mentioned things being scripted. Rasheed just let it fly. And you also felt like any slang was how Rasheed naturally spoke also. So it doesn't bother you nearly as much. Now, LeBron does this big wide-eyed shit when he delivers as if it's prophecy every time he says it. But he's also adopted some of the slang that he says now. He didn't always say some of these things.
He swears a lot more now.
So it's
and
just,
I think I was just getting ready. A brand thing.
I was just getting ready. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking that I would say to myself a lot of times, why are you talking so crazy right now? Like, why are you it's like he just cusses like it ain't nothing now. Like,
yep.
Dallas, you remember when he won the scoring title? He cussed. He was saying, like, I'm so fucking happy, blah, 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 like to the crowd, like the moment it happened.
Well, you got people making excuses for it. Like Broussard came on and said, well, that's just the way it is now. No, it's that way because you allow it. You have to, if he's the GOAT and if he's such a great role model and the dad and all these other things that they say that he does for the community, etc., be the example. Don't be the excuse maker. Be the example of how things should be.
And this is this is one of them. I'm sorry.
Daniel, I see you in the waiting room. I'll let you in just a second. We'll let Dallas finish up here, and then I'll bring you in. Go ahead.
This is the last thing I'll say, and this is what really, really bothers me. This is just in life in general, because I really feel like we got to get to this point where we're getting past the isms, race, we got to get past all of that. So, I'm saying that to say, sometimes I feel like a lot of people will protect LeBron because they feel like he's the successful Black man in a sense, and it's kind of like, but you still got to call out things that need to be called out. Like, you right in front of TV, in front of millions of fans, you're supposed to be this great father, and you know what it means for kids to see you a certain way on TV, but you're talking crazy, like my man was saying, like, then he might say something like about fucking time, or he just be talking really crazy and just acting like, you know what I mean, just acting like this kid, and it's like, are we going to just let you roll with this because you're this figure, I guess, in the Black community, where it's kind of like you're for this generation, you're that guy, so we're just going to let you, get by with that. And for me, I don't like it because I just don't like the way it looks. It's kind of like, oh, we're just going to let this guy do that because of this, and it's kind of like, it's just whack to me, where it's like, can we get behind someone that that acts like Curry is a perfect example of someone that can definitely be someone that you can look up to and follow. That's actually quote unquote doing it the right way, as far as like, okay, I'm in front of kids. You know what I mean? I'm in front of, you know what I mean? You can do all the stuff you want to do outside, but I'm in front of kids right now. So I'll just leave you with that, man, and I'll continue to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, rein it in at some point. You can do your own thing in your own time, but
Thank you,
rein it
Dallas.
in.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Dallas. And thank you, Speem. Thanks for calling in. Got Daniel. Daniel,
What's going on? What's going on, sir? Hold on. Let me just align the camera properly.
I'm looking
we're
at your
good.
ear.
I'm trying to get this right, but I'm struggling a bit. Bear with me.
You
I'm
got
not
any
that. I'm
evidence?
like that. What? LeBron's an idiot. Too much of that.
Wait, you better not. You better not be
Too
getting rid
much
of
of
me.
that. It's a shame. He actually. I'm about 30 years old. I started watching basketball in 2003, LeBron's rookie year, and just to promote LeBron, they have destroyed the entire league. I think Adam Silver is the dumbest commissioner ever to walk the earth. It's a shame he's still working.
I can't argue with you.
Hopping on my computer now.
What? Spam, I just let you back in.
I said I'm hopping on my computer now.
Okay. I'll let you. So, am I being unreasonable wanting there to be more than just Rich Paul rumors about all these things that he puts out there?
No, you're not unreasonable. You're not unreasonable. It's justified. Because at this
Where are you
point, with all the
calling from?
propaganda, I'm calling from New York City.
Okay, so from someone on the other side of the country, the other coast, what would you think about the Warriors teaming up with LeBron? Do you think that a Warrior fan, considering the history there, should embrace that?
A real Warrior fan, not the one that's come in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
A
longer
real
than that.
Warrior fan, a real Warrior fan should be disgusted at the idea. One, they
Amen.
don't need him. Two, they don't need him. Three, it doesn't make sense. What is he? First of all, just what are you going to give up to get him? You're going to trade Draymond Green's contract to get LeBron? just to get a bigger headache. Two, he can't play off the ball, so you've already destroyed your offense.
You know what? A lot of LeBron fans justify the crap
not those-
going on in LA is ticket sales and relevance. And I want
But the Lakers have been relevant before I've been born.
Right.
The Lakers are the premier franchise arguably the premier franchise of the sport. So for them to say that, they don't know what they're talking. Gen Z and millennials. I'm an expert on these two generations. They don't know nothing nor care about nothing that happened before them.
I'm not going to argue. I'll tell you what's significant is that the Warriors have led the league in revenue the last 2 years. So you cannot use that excuse when if LeBron were to come to the Bay Area now, you might see
Steph Curry since 2014 has been the biggest draw in the NBA. Not LeBron James. They force LeBron James on you. Steph Curry's fandom is authentic. They can never stop it.
If they put as much effort, the media, that is, putting a Steph Curry storyline in front of us nonstop, because, people will rip on me for talking about LeBron a lot. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm countering the news because the news is talking about him every effing day. Every effing day. All I'm trying to do is counter it. So, if they stopped with that crap, maybe I would stop. But thank you. You got anything else to say, Daniel?
They could spend so much. The NBA could do so much better with coverage. They don't have to cover LeBron. They have many other interesting. I find Luka Doncic you could actually make an interesting storyline with. Nikola Jokic, granted he doesn't like interviews, is actually a very interesting man.
I mean, Larry Bird didn't like interviews, and people actually liked that about him.
That is true. Larry was honest. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is actually not marketable, right? Kawhi doesn't play enough. So that's a bad example. I'm trying to think of somebody. I'm trying to think of somebody else, but you get the point. There's so many other storylines they could spin. They need to stop putting Camp Man on camera because he's an idiot.
Camp Man. I haven't heard that, believe it or not. Wow.
Yeah, Camp Man. And look, the Mavericks game 1 in the last 20 seconds is how he earned the name Catman. Because I've never seen such stupid basketball in my life.
It was something. It was something else.
It was stupid. But but AOH, man, thank you for letting me on for a little bit. I'm about to head out and take care of what I got to take care of.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Continue to stream, man. You're doing a good job.
Here in New York. All right. For those of you, this always happens. I'm ready to wrap it up, and we've got more viewers. Here's what we've been talking about today. Why isn't there more evidence from last year's trade deadline other than a phone call that the Warriors and the Lakers were going to do this trade? You know, a phone call, in my opinion, doesn't amount to much. I think there's about 1 billion phone calls going around the league all the time looking for things to do. Where's the evidence that Rich Paul actually called teams to stop them from drafting Bronny? And even if he did call them, what did they say on the other end of the line? You're like, why are you calling us? Who are you? Who's Bronny James? And which brings us to the latest Rich Paul lie / story that he had to squash the trade and that the Lakers and Warriors were going to do it if not for Rich Paul protecting LeBron's already completely tarnished reputation. And then my original take on this was, wait a minute. If you were trying to save his reputation, then you should have squashed it and then really squashed it and not told the whole world what you did. Don't tell the world the effort you had to go through in order to save the guy's reputation if your actual goal was to save somebody's reputation. That doesn't make any sense at all, other than that you're so full of yourself you can't stop talking and getting in the media. Braun has brought in the era of fake PR politics into the league. You know, something Daniel made me think of when we were talking about the league could do better. Clutch Sports and LeBron James's 7 media companies are actually calling a lot of the shots now. They're actually calling the shots. That's what's scary. I mean, a billionaire, I know there's a lot richer people in that, but when it comes to wanting to get your story out there, you can do a lot. You can do a lot with those sorts of resources, especially when you don't actually pay for schools that you build yourself and you have foundations bringing in donations on top of your endorsements and your salaries. Well, I don't know if Steam Engine's going to call back in before I hang it up. Let me put the call in one more time. And if not, I'll end this. Again, anyone looking for any real evidence, anything to verify all of Rich Paul's rumors. Clutch World Order. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Quote from LeBron James. Rich Paul is a glorified hype man. All right, well, I tried. You guys can put it in the comments once this is no longer live, if there is, in fact, any sort of verifiable evidence, maybe a response from any of these organizations that Rich Paul has supposedly conversed with. All right, guys, thanks for calling in.